Ethan. But
I love this movie. Now, where does this rank? All right, so Deep Blue Sea is obviously
below Deep Blue Sea.
All right, and it's below Deep Blue Sea. It's below Tremors of 1990s. What
Yes.
is it better than like a Congo? It's better than Deep Rising.
Oh, I love Congo.
Okay.
So it's not better than Congo.
It's
Congo
better
is
than-
a guilty pleasure.
Deep Rising, it's better than.
I haven't seen Deep Rising.
Oh, it's bad. Jet skis.
Then I will assume it's better than Deep Rising.
Yeah, so it's someone said it's like on par with Tremors and Deep Blue Sea. I'm like, you're smoking.
Yeah, that person's high.
Now, hey, on Movies, Films, and Flicks, I asked people who their favorite 1990s villains were because I think that, obviously, Paul Cerrone is number one of the entire decade.
I'm gonna disagree with you, but fine.
Now,
For me, it's all about Caledon Hockley from Titanic.
Oh, dude, Billy Zane?
Love Billy Zane in Titanic.
he's so good.
He's amazing.
So on Movies, Films, and Flicks, someone wrote Billy Zane in Demon Knight, which I think he's a very good villain. And then someone asked us a question. They said, is Gary Oldman a better villain in The Professional or The Fifth Element?
Better villain. I think he's a better villain in The Professional or Leon, as it's called here. I certainly quote him more from that film.
Everyone! Yep.
It's great. I think that one he's more of a hittable villain. In The Fifth Element, there's so much else going on. There's so many colourful characters in that film that he kind of gets a little bit lost. He never gets completely lost. Gary Oldman in villain mode never gets completely lost, but Leon is a much more pared down film, so he gets more of a chance to be a villain.
Just the scene where he's biting into the pills.
Yeah. And
just his frustration. And, on set, when they're like, hey, can you bring the extras? And you're like, yeah, how many do you need? Then someone would, every time, play the clip. Everyone! I think that's, and he kills, Leon at the end. But you're right, when you talk about Fifth Element, and sorry if you're the person, but no one ever goes, oh yeah, Gary Oldman, right?
Yeah, there's so many other things you talk about before you get to him.
Yeah. All right, so then that...
Again, he's not bad in it. He's great in it.
Oh, it's just... Yeah, he's not bad in anything, I would say. I haven't seen Tiptoes, though. I want to watch that movie.
I'll come back for it.
Oh, let's do it. And then someone wrote Brian Dennehy in Gladiator, which I haven't watched. John Malkovich. Oh, is John Malkovich a better villain in Con Air or Rounders?
I mean, if the question features, is someone a better something in Con Air, or the answer is they're better in Con Air.
Yeah, he's so good.
No matter who it
Con
is,
Air.
what the role is, or what the comparison is, Con Air.
He's so good in Con Air.
Con Air's great.
And then, I mean, if he'd had Oreos in Con Air, he would have been better.
True. Let's see, I've only watched Rounders once, and Rounders is fine. But what I remember from it is Malkovich, and more specifically Malkovich's accent. A lot of accent talk on Today Show.
Oh yeah.
But Con Air, like Cyrus the Virus, is great. He's got that great line of like sayonara.
Yeah.
He's like the smartest guy in the world, and to have that ready, unless his name's Cyrus, people just call him Cy all the time. He's probably got that chambered. Like that's just ready to go. Whenever I kill anybody, they always say Cy to me first. So I just have that Anara dead.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, he's my favorite part of Rounders, but I like him better in Con Air.
Yeah.
Oh man, he's so good. I want Oreos now. All right, now Steven Dorff in Blade. Someone loved that. The Bratty Club Kid charisma. I thought that was cool. Someone wrote Tommy Lee Jones in Under Siege, Dennis Leary in Judgment Night, Wesley Snipes in New Jack City, Gary Oldman in most 90s movies, and Eric Gordon in Shooter McGavin, which Shooter McGavin's a great villain.
Yeah.
Have you seen this movie? Someone wrote, one will never find a better 90s villain than Bruce Dern in Diggstown.
No.
Yeah, I haven't watched that. So that's what Adam Hodgins wrote. Adam's on the pod a lot. He said Diggstown, so I'm gonna have to look into that. Someone wrote, Hiroyuki Tagawa from Mortal Kombat, Russell Crowe in Virtuosity. And then Simon Phoenix from Demolition Man.
Hell yes.
Dude, that got a ton of likes. That's the
Hell
number.
yes.
And then, Philly Trainer, he wrote Demolition Man, of course. Dan Aykroyd in Grosse Pointe Blank. I do love that scene, though. He's like, I'll trade you, and he gets his head smashed with a TV. Someone brought up Michael Shannon in Premium Rush. That came out this decade.
Yeah, it's not a 90s film. He's a great villain, but it's not... it feels like a 90s film.
Yeah.
But if it had been, then that might be my answer, because Michael Shannon's fantastic.
He is great in that movie. I mean, that's a
Con Air remake with Michael Shannon in the John Malkovich role. Take my money.
Holy crap.
In all of the roles.
Who would be Nicolas Cage? Chris Pine?
Michael Shannon.
Oh.
Chris Pine could do it. I feel like he might be too big at this point.
Yeah.
Con Air is a huge ensemble. So you need someone a bit smaller.
Iko Uwais in Nick Cage's role.
Hell yes.
Let's do it.
But then but then you can't believe anybody could defeat him.
No.
Like, the great thing about Nick Cage is, like, yeah, he's clearly the hero, but you feel like there's these more powerful people around him. Equal ways, you just watch him thinking, he's got this. No one else needs to help.
That's funny that you say that, because
Bubba's going to be fine.
You're absolutely right. I was watching Triple Threat, and he was fighting, Black Dynamite. He was fighting,
Michael
Jai White.
Yeah.
And Michael Jai White is huge in Triple Threat. And while he's fighting Iko Uwais, I just kept thinking, Iko's got this. But I don't think there's any other actor on the planet that I would could think that could happen. Does that make sense?
It's kind of the reverse of, which I've just done a podcast on some of the Roger Moore Bond films, and watching The Man with the Golden Gun, there's a scene where Roger Moore gets to a dojo, and he's entered into a competition to fight against the martial artist. And I'm watching and thinking, I just feel sorry for James Bond here, because he's this old man being beaten up by this younger, more athletic martial artist. I just feel bad. Like, it's the exact opposite. Like, he's just this old guy. And I know that Roger Moore only gets older in these films. It just gets worse and worse the more I see somehow he defeats these younger, more powerful, more athletic people. And I just feel bad for the guy.
So let me get this straight. You're saying Iko Uwais for Bond?
Hell yes. I mean, Henry Golding is my pick for the next Bond. But if he doesn't want to do it, then he ways.
I said that. Henry Golding. I like McFadden or Richard Madden. Richard Madden after watching Bodyguard.
See, after watching Bodyguard, I was like, no, I can't see him as Bond. I didn't like him in Bodyguard.
Ooh. I'm with you.
I don't know why.
Henry Golding.
I feel like Richard Madden would just do a Connery impression. Not just because he's Scottish. I mean, partially because he's Scottish. But I just feel like he's just trying to be Connery. And I want someone to do something, their own thing.
I mean, Henry Golding. I love that casting. Do it.
Yeah.
Book it. I have three left for you. Angus McFadden in Warriors of Virtue. Never heard of that.
Nope.
And then Mommy and Daddy in People Under the Stairs. Very good villains. Over the top.
Yeah.
Underrated movie. The Plague and Hackers. Love that.
Yeah.
Love that.
People Under the Stairs is fantastic. Yeah. I can recommend that.
That's an underrated movie.
Yeah. So Wes Craven.
Yeah, but Cerrone is the number one. I have a picture. I'm just looking at his little tilted head. Eyes squinted. Looks like
see right up his nose.
I wish he would have had a toothpick in this movie at all times.
I can see that. I'm surprised he doesn't. It's one of those things where you look back, you think back and think, yeah, he had a toothpick. He must have done. It's the Berenstain Bears kind of thing.
Hey, so do you have any final thoughts about Anaconda?
I think we covered everything. So we talked a lot about this film.
Yeah.
I'm glad that I got my Christianity comparison in there.
That was great.
Nailing to the cross, or nailing with a cross. Yeah, I just would like, I mean, things have gotten better, but I just like B-movie makers, or all movie makers in general. Just because, you don't have to have a token Brit in there, but if you do, don't make him a twat. Like, doesn't have to be some pompous, he drinks his wine out of a chalice. He brought a silver chalice on board this raft with him.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly.
I don't know where they're sleeping.
No, I'd like a bit more detail on just the layout. This is how Deep Blue Sea is great. I picked up my drink then to have a sip out of it, and then I just got turned onto a tangent. I put it back down again. I'll get back to that. This is why Deep Blue Sea is great, because there's a scene where Sam Jackson goes down in the lift, and they have in the elevator, and they have the whole exposition about this and about the whole undersea facility. You get a real feel for the place. They spend like 95% of the film on this raft, and I have no idea what's where.
Wow.
I don't need a cross-section diagram. It'd be nice. I don't need one, but just a scene of walking a one shot, walking around the boat.
There's none of that.
A bit more character development in it.
Yeah.
Something.
I'm just happy that Jon Voight made the decisions he did.
Yes. I think if you take out Jon Voight, or if you replace him with, I don't know, Jon Voight doing his normal voice, and turning up just in a freshly clean t-shirt and shorts, then it would be a lesser film. It would be far less remembered. He is the most memorable part of this film. He makes Anaconda. It's not the Anaconda that makes it. It's Jon Voight. So without his decisions, we probably wouldn't be talking about it today.
I can't say that any better. You nailed it. That should be said on the poster. I love it. All right, well, this is fun, man. Thanks for recommending this. I'm looking forward to Lake Placid.
Lake Placid, yeah, that's next.
It's going to be good. All right, cool.
First time watch with me.
Oh, I can't wait. I want to see how you liked it. We'll have to save it for the pod.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, cool. So for me, Mark Hoffmeyer. Oh, wait. Also, make sure to head to the Large Association of Movie Blogs. to check out the site. If you are a writer and if you do have a website, if you have a blog, become part of the Lamb. I've been part of it for how long? 4 years?
Yeah, about that.
5 years? When was the first time I was on your podcast?
It was the 1950s draft. I have no idea when that was.
Maybe 2015?
Yeah.
Yeah, 4 or 5 years, something like that. But no, there's a great community. I was just on the Forgotten Filmcast, so I had a fun time with Todd. We did a movie called Night Riders, but it's a really great community. And then your website. Do you want to tell them about your website before we get out of here?
My site is lifeversusfilm.com, lifevsfilm.com. I don't really do a lot there, but there's some reviews. There isn't a review of Anaconda. There probably won't be a review of Anaconda, but there's other more reputable films are reviewed there now and then.
All right. Hey, so for me, Mark Hoffmeyer, for Jay Cluett, this is Movies, Films, and Flicks. We'll see you next week.
So I hope you enjoyed that chat about Anaconda. Something I noticed during the episode, I never actually circled back around to what the fourth film that Owen Wilson died in. So spoiler alert for a Wes Anderson film from the 2000s. He passed away in The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou. Wes Anderson's most Deep Blue Sea adjacent film. I have seen it before, but will we cover it on this show? Maybe. I don't know. It's got a tiger shark in it. A jaguar shark. It's got a jaguar shark in it. So that could be on the cards in the future. It's a film that I would have said was my least favourite Wes Anderson film until I very recently watched both Bottle Rocket and The French Dispatch. So it is currently my third least favourite Wes Anderson film above those two. Anyway, so how is Anaconda like Deep Blue Sea? Well, some things that were mentioned during the episode. Jon Voight turns into a snake. Like LL Cool J turns into a shark in the music video for Deepest Bluest. Ice Cube kills the Anaconda with a cross-shaped weapon, with a pickaxe, in the same way that Preacher, LL Cool J, stabs the shark in the eye with his crucifix. And there is some kind of Breaking Bad inspiration, which, although I just listened to the episode, can't remember what it was we talked about. I just jotted this down. And as we all know, from listening to Deep Blue Sea, our first series, the makers of Breaking Bad just liberally stole from Deep Blue Sea with the stuffed Teddy falling off the boat and drifting through the water. It's fact. Things we didn't mention in the show, it stars somebody who, before the film, was more known for the rap industry, so Ice Cube, as opposed to LL Cool J. Danny Trejo has birds in cages in the start of the film. An animal bursts through a wooden floor. People get eaten by an animal. The animal eats way more than it needs to in a short period of time. Frank Welker voices an animal. Of course, he voices the bird in... he makes the bird noises in Deep Blue Sea, and he makes the anaconda noises in Anaconda. Frank Welker, hell of a career. Just the CV on that guy. They blow the animal up at the end of the film. There is a token British person in the cast, Jonathan Hyde, who is the most annoying character, perhaps. And Westridge, Jonathan Hyde's character, he likes to play golf, just like Sam Jackson did when he wasn't filming Deep Blue Sea. Actually, on this show, this is the first time Mark and I talk about Con Air. Something which, I'm sure we've mentioned at some point in the show, we definitely mentioned it on other shows we've been guests on, is the next project planned post Mark's hiatus, is Con Air chapter by chapter. So this was the first time he and I talked about it, was during this show. It came up tangentially, as things often do, when Mark and I sit down to talk about a 90s creature feature. And the last thing I obviously need to do is how deep and blue is Anaconda? This is, for a film that's set entirely on water, Anaconda, not very blue. Anaconda, very green, murky brown film. Not very blue at all. It is, in fact, just 2.7% blue. Very, very low score for Anaconda. One of the least blue films we've covered here. I think it's like the third least blue. It's only bluer than The Descent and The Covenant. It is slightly bluer than Cliffhanger as well. So it's really down at the bottom in blueness. And depth-wise, not great either. Mainly takes place on surface level or on the boat. Only goes underwater when Eric Stoltz is diving. So this ends up being about 25 centimetres or not even an entire foot above surface level. So not very deep, not very blue at all. Anaconda is slacking. So that'll do it for our Anaconda re-release. Hope you've enjoyed it. Next week we'll be back to a new show, looking at Godzilla